Okay, planning the check-in weekly is a way that you can improve your interactional style and communication style. So, remember how I told you that you now are learning how to sit with pain and learn from it, learn from your feelings, learn how to thrive even though there's discomfort in your life. You're building all these skills. So, one way that you can exercise these skills is by having a check in with your partner. So, unless it's something that absolutely needs to be addressed immediately, what you can do is have weekly check ins. And at the beginning, you might want to have daily check ins and then decrease them to 2 times a week and then decrease them to weekly and go from there in terms of how much you need to check in. But they are scheduled check ins. And in the check in, you share with your partner how you're feeling and what's going on with you and what you're learning and how you're moving forward. Your partner does the same. How his recovery is going, how's he feeling, if he's being successful, and you communicate in a way that is shared and responsive, not reactionary, and you bring all the attack and judgment out of communication. Again, this is for you, not for your partner, but it will help your partner and it will help your relationship. And especially if you need to stay in each other's lives for the rest of your life, this will be one of the most important skills that you develop. So, create time so that you can build intimacy too. You want to make it so that you have enough time to talk about the things that's happened in the last week and especially get to the feelings part of how you're feeling. If you're feeling confident, share that. If you're feeling off put by something, share that. Have your partner do the same. This is skill building in building your emotional maturity through healthy communication. If you feel like you want to blame or shame or react, learn to hold your tongue. And it's for you again, not necessarily for your partner or your relationship. But here is an example. And you know how I am, always talking about what's going on with me. It's the best examples to learn from. So we went to the tiny village over the weekend, and on the way home, my husband said something ridiculous, but that's beside the point, where was saying that I was wrong and I always need to be right. I totally knew I was right, but I didn't have to be right. But I had to hold my tongue. Here's the thing. There was a car and it was covered with clay. There was all clay on the top, but there was clay on the back window and you could see where the windshield wiper mark was. And my husband said, it's rust. I'm like, dude, it's not rust. It's on the glass. Glass can't rust. That's all I said. And then he's like going on and on and on. And I'm like, I just sat there and I said, it might have been rust. And he's like, and we've joked about it since then because he was caught up in a thing, told me I was caught up in it. But to let it all go away because it was ridiculous, I just held my tongue. And I practice this all the time. I will breathe through a thing. And, my kids will say things that I will have to teach them, but I have to breathe through it so that I'm not reactionary, so that I can move myself through a verbal process in conversations that might start to get a back and forth where you don't go anywhere. And you know what I'm talking about because we all have those conversations. So allow yourself processing time. And if something's really important, it's not that you give up on it. If it's really important, you kindly state the statement. And, another example, I said that to my husband a few weeks ago. I'm like, this is going on. And I don't remember what it was now, or I would tell you. But then I'm like, and he's like, no. I'm like, nope, this is what's happening. And it was another thing like that where he needed to be right, but I needed him to know what was going on. And so then a couple days later, he goes, you're snarky lately. I like it. And it wasn't me being snarky. It was me holding a verbal boundary in a conversation, not letting him walk over me with whatever thing he was doing in terms of trying to verbally dominate the conversation to get to his own ends. But I did it very kindly, and I didn't need to be right in the end, but he got my point. And so that is what you need to do when things are important, is kindly state it, and also learn that these discussions in this recovery process, they may not be one-offs. So when you have a check-in, every one of them might not end in roses and champagne popping. Some of them at the end might be more contentious than they were at the beginning. Again, you can handle it. You're strong and you can go back to thriving in your life, even though that is out there. Having it out there sometimes is what makes you move through it. Having a loose end allows your partner to do the pieces that he needs to do to begin to tie it up. So just be aware of that you can get comfortable with the uncomfortable so that you can move through the process because it's not an event. Okay, help me move through to intimacy, anorexia, organic and reactive, new stuff that we need to talk about. I'll see you there.